What's up? We are live. You guys ready to work? We're looking at a 5-minute chart. We're 4 minutes, 45 seconds out. We just got a big bear bar rollover after, well, about 8 consecutive bars with a little doji mixed in. I actually caught this guy on the way in. That was a nice little trade. But let's keep rocking. I am going to start on the 5-minute chart, of course, as is typical. I'll jump around to the 1 minute, to the 2 minute, see if we can catch little scalps here and there while the 5 minute isn't offering much. But right now, the 5 minute, I think, is the place to be. So, how we doing? How we doing this morning? Good morning, Niles, KML, Cass, Javaz. What's up, guys? Rufio, Derek, good to see you guys. All right, let's get to it. What do you guys say? All right, 4 minutes out. Right now, in this tight bull channel that has now attempted a pullback on that last 5-minute bar, I am looking for any reason to get long. Okay, it has to be a good reason, which is why I'm waiting after the rollover of this bar. You know, hey, could you have bought that rollover? I wouldn't be mad at you if you did. You absolutely could have bought that rollover. For me, I wanted to see how this bar plays out, and we will know here in 3 minutes. David, John, what's up, guys? How we doing? All right, if we see, by the way, a decent bull body close here on this bar, again, 3 minutes out, I will slap out a stop limit buy just because it makes my life really easy to keep risk relatively small and maybe see if we can get a 2-to-1 reward to risk little swing. When you get these pull-ins and then small signal bars, it lets you keep risk tight, maybe hop on a little what a lot of people might call early. It's just a sliding scale, pick where you want to enter. But when you're a little earlier, you can get a better reward to risk. If you enter a move a little bit later, you're later in the move, right? So expected value might be a little lower compared to the risk. That doesn't mean probability is worse. It means probability is actually a little bit higher because you're later in the move. I explain this concept a lot. I think that makes sense to most of you. Makes a lot of sense to me. Roy, how we doing? Benjamin, what's up? Good to see you guys. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. We will find out. All right, while we wait on that, let's look at the 1. Yeah, 1's not looking too bad, honestly. ATR on the 1 minute chart is 7. ATR on the 2 minute, honestly, a little low. Dipping beneath 10, 9.75. But right now, I think the 5 minute is the story. So we're going to stick around here for the time being. All right, 28 seconds out. We're on the 5 minute chart. If this bull body can close near the high, I am going to have to get the copy trader engaged, ready to go. And I will put out a stop limit buy, risk the signal bar. If we get that close, let's see if we do. I want to see a half decent close out of the bulls. That's a little bit better. Get a stop limit buy ready. And see if the bulls close this up in a half decent manner. That's just fine. I will place that and give that up to about 30 seconds since we're on the 5 minute chart, which on the 5 minute chart is not a tremendous amount of time to give it. just because there is a bit of a wick there. So if we're going to get resolution and a fill, I want that to happen relatively quickly, meaning inside of the first 30 seconds of this new 5-minute bar. Come on, bulls, push it through. Beauty, and we will get a fill. Suck risk up. Just underneath the signal bar. And let's see if we can get approximately... I'm going to set my orders out at approximately 2-to-1, which is actually a bit less than that. And let's see how we can, if the bulls can clean this up, take this into new highs, and give us that. Now, again, the concept of this trade here, when you get a signal bar like that, it's very nice because you're able to manage risk extremely easily. There's no decisions to be made. It's very simple. Now, am I a little early in the move? Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. So probability is a little bit lower. Reward to risk is much better, potentially. So come on now, bulls. Take it up higher. Take us through the high. And let's see if they can work this one out for us. Bears trying to take out that wick low. Let's see if they do. If they do, we'll cut it and move on. But I want to see if the bulls can come up and reclaim this little wick up here. And I'm going to adjust this to be more of a true 2-to-1. All right. Now, listen, if we need to, we'll manage bar by bar. But here, it's pretty smooth sailing if the bulls can make this one work for us. And if not, that's okay. Because the concept of this trade, again, if you're just joining us, a little bit lower probability, but quite a bit better reward to risk. Because we're a little early, right? We take that smaller signal bar after a bigger bear body. Just a slightly different structure. Not every trade is going to be the same. Please don't get married to that idea. But if you can structure something that makes mathematical sense, whether it's very high probability and low reward to risk, or a very high reward to risk and relatively low probability, the question is not win rate. The question is not reward to risk. The question is edge. Right? When people say, hey, what's the win rate on that? What's the reward to risk? You know, or say, what is your win rate? That's kind of a meaningless question because it depends on what setup you're trading. It's all over the board. What you should be asking is, what's your edge? Which you shouldn't tell anybody, by the way. It's really no one's fucking business. All right, now, bulls. Let's take this higher. Let's give us our 2-to-1. All right, bulls. Let's keep that attitude up. Gonna need a hell of a lot more than that for this structure to make sense here. Good push, bulls. Good little push. Now, as far as stop losses up here, do I have my heart set on this as a stop hunting mentality? No, it's a new level. There's going to be some, right? But pretty much all the stops that are up here are going to be from entries after that bar, which, I mean, we're talking 15, 20 minutes. Probably 15 minutes. So how many stops can really accumulate up there in that time? So no, that's not the idea. But it doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt to have a few up there. All right, bears trying to do something here. Again, if they take out the wick low of my signal bar, that's cool. I am going for 2-to-1 on this trade in particular, just because that's how the structure presented itself. So pretty much everything for me here is offloaded to the computer. There's really not much to do. The one thing that I would do is on a trade like this, again, it's nuanced, right? It depends on the type of setup you're presented with, the decisions that you make, at least for me, right? Comma for me is always the truth here. If we did get a big bull body closing near the high, let's say it's a body that I would get long on say this bar or the next bar or whatever, and it closes up at 24,110, for example, and it's a bar that I would get long on if I were flat. What I might do, depending on how the bar looks, is just suck the stop up to beneath the wick low of that bar, because that becomes a new entry bar. Now, if you wanted to add on that bar, you certainly could, though with the understanding that the probability on that add, if you think about your initial entry and the add as separate trades, the probability of profit at all on the second, well, I guess the add, right? The first add after the initial entry. The probability is higher. The reward to risk is quite a bit lower because you're deeper into the move, right? Than your initial entry if you think of them as separate trades. This is all just math. I mean, this is pretty basic stuff. I lay it out this way because I think it's important to think about things this way as the math. Nothing else matters. But if the bears take out the wick low of our signal bar, we'll move on. Let's see if they do. All right, and they will, which means we will get flat. Let's keep an eye on this 20 EMA here and look for the next trade. All right, we're 3 minutes out here on this 5-minute bar. All right. We are within 10 points, that 20 EMA here on the 5-minute, by the way. Which have we seen we've seen a little bit of respect around it this morning, but it was pretty sloppy. And I do not give a shit about it. The only reason it's even up is because I know other people watch it. And when other people watch it, algorithms start to take note and start to also watch it because it becomes what? It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And when that happens, with such a popular EMA on such a popular time frame like the 20 on the 5-minute chart, if I'm going to throw anything up, it's going to be that. Let's see here. We're about minute 15 out. See if we get something interesting here. Look at this. All right, interesting rollover inside close. You know, all this makes you start to wonder, are we in a little trading range? Though, do I think it's going to last incredibly long? Probably not. But right now, we may just be right in a trading range. We're right back to our entry point on that last trade. But until this thing breaks downside, at least on the 5-minute chart, we still can't forget. I mean, ultimately, we're looking at kind of a tight bear range that's now starting to soften. Right? In hindsight, you could always look at these trading ranges, in hindsight, as kind of sustained pullbacks that turn into ranges and then maybe continue. But the second we start to pull inside and maybe dip beneath the 20 EMA, get a clean close or a couple of consecutive closed bear bodies that are pretty clear that we're maybe targeting a few lows on the day, then it would be any reason for me to get short. Right now, I'm still in the mindset from a zoomed out perspective of, you know, hey, I'm kind of looking for any reasonable reason to get long as it doesn't conflict with the trading range argument. So let's keep watching. All right, we're a minute 25 out here, still on the 5-minute chart. This bar currently sitting as a doji. All right, let's see if the Bears can put something together here. A little bit more definitive. Here, I want to show you the 2-minute. So this is the 5. Let me show you the 2. You know, the 2 starts looking like this. So I want to keep an eye on that. Lower end of that region, we're looking, I don't know, around 75. It's always a range. Don't look at it as, oh, it's 76.50. Who gives a shit? It's always a range. Everyone's going to draw everything a little bit differently. You have the 20 EMA on the 5 at 77. So let's see if that gets respected here. If the bears can take it through and give us like a clean close way the hell down here, all of a sudden I start to think a little bit differently. But right now we are still within that trading range. So I think if we're going to do anything, at least me, right now I'm looking to buy low, sell high, scalp. 3.5 minutes out. All right, so here we are coming into the higher region of this little range, right? The trading range. So as we come in here, again, looking at this is a 5-minute chart. On a 2-minute chart, that starts to look even more definitive. If I'm doing anything up here, I'm taking little scalp stabs. And you guys know when I'm looking for reversion scalps, which is in trading ranges, is the time when I'm least, I guess, strict. I don't need to wait for a bar to close. There's no reason for me to do so, like there is in a continuation trade, like the one, the one I took earlier here. Rollover, stop limit buy, push. So let's see if we can get a bit of a push back higher. And what I could easily do there is just structure something where I just get short. Manage risk up here. Very, very tight. Gives me enough profit potential within, reason of the range and the ATR, which is currently 17 here on the 5-minute chart. And again, it is not necessary for me, at least, in these scenarios to wait for the bar to close. There's just really no reason for me to do so. But I still have to get a push for a decent entry, which is within reason in the, at least undeniably in the top third of what I see as the trading range. ATR is 17. Let's see if the bulls can do this. Come on, bulls. Here comes a new bar. Just coincidentally. Yeah, just looking to see if the bulls can get this done here. Give us a little pop. I I don't have to be incredibly picky, but I want the risk to fit within an ATR, closer to half an ATR, if that makes sense. I don't want it to be so tight when we're scalping inside of a range. Like, I'm not looking to risk 3 points. I think it's psychotic when people look to do that. It's just, the probabilities on that are not good, no matter how good you think your entry is. So, you know, we don't have to be psychotic about the entry, but it's got to be reasonable. We just have not gotten anything reasonable. So, we'll keep an eye on this here. All right, let's do a couple questions. Is the 5-minute view enough to detect moves quickly? I typically use the 1 to 3 minute, but I'm not very experienced. I don't think that it helps you detect a move more quickly on a lower time frame. You're just seeing patterns on tighter time frames. So, you know, while on the 5-minute chart, this trading range looks like a single bar back and forth barcode, on a 2-minute chart, this looks like a bit more of a reasonable trading range with a few wiki bars, but it's a bit more reasonable. Okay, now could you, I guess, quote unquote, detect the trading range a little sooner? Maybe if you're inexperienced, but if you kind of understand that what you're looking at is just the data presented, the same data presented in different ways, you can kind of look at a 5-minute chart by this bar or this bar and subconsciously know what it's going to look like on a 1-minute chart. The reason I like the 5 is because I think it's a sustainable chart to trade. It's a clear view of how to manage risk, and it's quote unquote easy to trade all day if you're somebody who likes to trade for hours and hours. You're not going to be able to trade a 1-minute chart. You might be able to do it all day. That's not the question. You can say, I'm as hard as they come. I can trade a 1-minute chart for 8 hours a day and not switch. Tremendous. Good for you. How's your decision making by hour 6? Is it just as good as hour 1? And if you say yes, I think you're full of shit. It's not as good for me. Moves too quick. I like the 1-minute chart. I will take trades on the 1-minute chart, but not for 8 hours a day. Okay, so here we are getting a bull pull-in to kind of the, a bear pull-in to kind of the lower third of this trading range that we're currently in. So again, on these trading ranges, just looking to buy low, sell high, scalp. That's the idea. Very simple trading in trading ranges. It's not complicated. You just have to make sure you manage your risk. So when you do catch a breakout, you don't get hurt. And look for reasonable entries. It's not, you know, this is not surgical precision in ranges like it kind of is on continuation trades in some ways. And I certainly do not have to wait for bars to close. So let's see if the bears can push us a little lower so I can a bit more reasonably manage my risk with the ATR at 16.7 in the way that I would like to manage risk, which is below this wick here. All right, new bar here. Let's see if the bears can take this a bit lower. Yeah, bull's taking it right back up. All right, we'll hang out for a second, see what we get. When you start getting those little teases where you're not really getting the entries you're looking for, usually what's happening is the range is tightening. Which means I don't want to be in the trade anyway if the range is tightening. But if it's not, we'll take something. And by the way, in this scenario, I have very little bias in which direction. Just anything that makes sense. How do you use ATR? I just use it to help me determine what's a reasonable ask to make out of the market. So I'm not going to try to take a scalp that I expect to take 3 minutes on a 5-minute chart, and I'm setting a target at 45 points when the average range of a 5-minute bar is 15.8 points. That's how I use ATR. So sometimes if I'm scalping a channel, I might look to take half an ATR as profit, and then I need to set my risk, pick a place to put my risk that makes logical sense based on that ATR, etc. All right, here we are getting a bear push into kind of deep into the lower third of this channel. The 20 EMA on the 5-minute chart happens to also be there, so keeping that in mind. ATR here on the 5 is 16.25. And I do believe that we are in a trading range. So waiting to see if the bears can push this just a tad lower, a little deeper, to allow me to manage risk in the way that I would like to on this trade. Bears. Bears, bears! Again, range I'm looking at is essentially this. It's relatively tight, but so is the ATR, 16.25. There you go. Bears punch that to the long side, suck risk up. And I'll place risk there and see if we can get a push back up into the range. ATR 16.3. I'll manage bar by bar if necessary. But protective order is out. Now this is actually very good because we only have 45 seconds left on this bar, so we'll see how the bears close this up. If they close it up in a way that would put me short, which would have to be pretty definitive because I still think we're in a trading range. But we'll see how they close it up. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. Just a range scalp is the idea, but let's see how they do close it up. There you go, bulls. Take it up back into the range. All right. They're trying to push. Having a little trouble. It's okay, though. Can't expect the world in 30 seconds on every scalp, you know? Though it is nice when that happens. The goal when you're scalping is always to get as deep in the money as quickly as possible. However, when you're in a range, it's not entirely realistic. On continuation trades, you can expect it a little sooner on average. But in ranges, you gotta let it do its thing, wiggle around, see if you're right. And if you need to, manage bar by bar. But always have that protective order out. Because especially if you're trading a 5-minute chart, if you're like, I'll tell you what, I'm just gonna manage bar by bar. What happens if you get news and there's 4 minutes left on the bar and it falls 120 points? What do? Do you wait for it to close because you're managing bar by bar? You know what I mean? So you gotta have a protective order out, which I do, at 63, which is 17 points, whatever. All right, bulls, not bad. Now fade it back up into the range. All right, we got 90 seconds left here on this 5-minute bar. Let's see how the bears close this up. And if necessary, I will manage bar by bar, but still, I'm still looking at that little range, especially like this is a 5-minute chart, but especially if you look at a 2-minute chart right now. Actually, I think we have a second. Let's look at it. This is a 2-minute chart right now. You see this? If they do pull it down, stop us, I still think it's more of an overextension than anything. Typically, if we're in a trading range, you guys know this by now, if I'm looking to take a breakout trade, which is how I determine do I cut a trade early or not, I'm usually not looking for a single bar closing kind of outside for me to take the trade in that direction and actually bet on the breakout. I usually need consecutive bodies. A lot of times what you get in more of a rangy market is you get that single close outside and then it just fades right back into the range. That's it, bulls. Show them what this is. This is no breakout, this is a range. ATR 16. All right, that 5-minute bar closed up as essentially a doji, which is, you know, fine. Better than the alternative. All right, there you go, bulls. Just looking to see if we can get better than half an ATR here. Again, still just a range scalping mentality. And in little ranges, that is the mentality. There we go, bulls. Keep that moving. Little deeper back into the range. I see a little more here out of the bulls. Again, I know I want to get a little better than half an ATR at a minimum here. All right, bulls getting weak back here. Let's see if they can take a second run. I saw 775 flash. That was damn close. Damn close. Didn't quite get there. All right, there we go, bulls. Keep that moving. There we go. A little more here. ATR 15.3. Boom, punch out. Barely got it. Got a little better than half an ATR. All right, we'll keep looking at this range here. Let's move on. Next trade. All right, that was trade number 2, at least on stream. All right, here's the rollover of this bar. Again, rollovers become more important to me as a breakout attempt matures. Inside of the range, it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's like, okay, it's a little more definitive than these closes. But it doesn't mean nearly as much as like this one, right? Yeah, if any of you guys are confused, like what's going on, you see on screen it says 1, right, over here when I'm in a trade. And then in the top right, it says, I don't know, however many I'm trading today. What did it say, 64 maybe? I'm copy trading, so I'm using Take Profit Trader and Apex, okay? And I'm using a copy trader. So what you're seeing on here is my leader account, which I trade 1 NQ contract in these days, NQ instead of MNQ. And then what I do is in the copy trading software, I specify either minis, so NQ, or micros, MNQ, and then I use an X multiplier to trade X number of minis, whether it's the same or more, or X number of micros. Okay, and then you end up with whatever number is in the upper right for the day. It depends on which accounts I'm trading, how big are the accounts that I'm trading, right? What's range doing? Like, what is the ATR massive? In which case it'll likely be a little smaller. And by the way, use code BIG, damn it, at these prop firms for the best deal always, baby. The deals are actually pretty good right now. 80% at Apex, single day pass, and then Take Profit Trader, daily payouts, man. 40% off, no activation fee. But that's what I'm doing. I get it. It's confusing because it's like, why does it say 1 and then 64? We're copy trading. That's why. And you're looking at the leader on here. And then the total in the upper right. All right, we're 90 seconds out from the close here. TC, I'm using the Affordable Indicators copier. I've never used Take Profit Trader. Where should I start? Any good thoughts on what you do? On what you do with them? Yeah, so with Take Profit Trader, buy a test or a few, whatever you want to do. And then again, it'll be 40% off, and then when you pass it, you won't pay an activation fee. So you have to trade a minimum of 5 days at Take Profit Trader. Apex, you can pass as however quickly you want. At Take Profit, you have to trade at least 5 trading days. So what I do, and you can't make more than half the profit target in one of those trading days. So let's say your profit target, let's say you buy a 50K account, is $3,000. You cannot make more than 1,500 in one day. If you do make more than 1,500 in one day, they do not fail you. They just raise your profit target by the amount you went over. Does that make sense? So they don't fail you, they just raise it. So there's no reason to make more than half in one day. It's like a consistency rule. So what I do on a new Take Profit Trader test account is I just go right in. I try to make 1,500. Let's say it's a 50K account. So the target is $3,000. I go in day 1, try to make $1,500. Day 2, try to make $1,500. If I do on both days, I flip day 3, 4, and 5, 1 micro, boom, you're in. Now, of course, some days you're not going to make 1,500 on day 1, or maybe day 2 you might lose money, whatever. Then you have day 3, 4, 5 to make it up. You don't have to pass it in 5 days. That's just the minimum. You can take as many days as you'd like. All right, now the drawdown in Take Profit Trader tests is end of day. It's an end of day drawdown. Okay? Well, a trailing end of day drawdown. In the pro account at Take Profit Trader, it's a real trailing drawdown. So you have to understand that as well. So work that in. Now, when I explain that, I get some people are probably like, all right. And this fair question, by the way, why would I go take profit trader? Wouldn't the obvious choice be Apex? I love both of them for different reasons. And the answer to that is no, depending on what you want. Take profit trader. Yes, it takes a few more days to get into a funded account compared to what you can do at Apex. But at Take Profit Trader, once you're in a pro account, anything above the buffer, now it's an 80-20 split at Take Profit Trader. You keep 80%, they keep, they just don't pay you out 20% of your profits. Don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. But with that split, anything above the buffer, once you cross the buffer in the pro account, you can take payouts on daily. As early as day one in the pro account, you can take a payout. If you go in on day one and you make $1,000 over the buffer in a Take Profit Trader pro account, you can request $800. Boom, in your bank account. Apex doesn't do that. You can get in a funded account at Apex day one. Well, I guess day two. You pass day one, then they fund you overnight and you're in day two. But in as little as 1 day, you can be funded at Apex, but you then have to trade a minimum of 8 trading days with the consistency rules and everything to get the payout. But you can go to 20 accounts. At Take Profit Trader, you can only go to 5 accounts. So you see here how there's gives and takes. The answer, by the way, is not like, well, which one's the best? The answer is to just hit all of them, but my 2 favorite, by a mile at this point, right now, in no particular order, are Apex and Take Profit Trader. If you're trying to bootstrap going full time, hit Take Profit Trader because you need money coming in now. But very quickly, you're going to come to a conclusion that you're like, I need these numbers to get big. So you go to Apex, you use code BIG, and you get 20 accounts. And yes, you take a few more days, but once you get over the payout buffer, you can take payouts, and you can take, I guess on average, bigger payouts because you can have 4 times the amount of accounts. You can take big payouts at Take Profit Trader too, obviously. But at Apex, it's maybe a little, I don't want to say easier because it's all, I mean, trading's difficult, right? But it, makes logical sense that the payouts from Apex are going to be a little bit bigger on average because you're trading, up to 20 accounts rather than up to 5, if that makes sense. All right, we're 20 seconds out here from the close of this 5-minute bar. Let's see what we get still in this little trading range. Niles says, I use Apex, but I want to try Take Profit Trader. Thanks for your thoughts. Yeah, give it a try. Again, I think the answer is, ultimately the answer is kind of hit as many props as you can, which the issue though is when you start hitting like all of them, it's like a full-time job, obviously. You really have to keep track of what are all the rules of all of these. Oh God, I got to work on I got to work on the Tradify account. I got to pass that Bullinox eval. It becomes a lot. So I think to get the most juice out of it, my opinion right now is my 2 favorites are hit Apex, hit Take Profit Trader. You're hitting them kind of for different reasons. Take Profit Trader is to keep you afloat, because you can get money coming in quickly if you get over the buffer, right? Because they don't delay any payouts. It's very fast from Take Profit Trader. But you're using Apex to really get the leverage to try to get the bigger payouts. Again, you can take big ass payouts from Take Profit Trader, definitely. It's just when you go from 5 accounts to 20, the game changes a little bit, and that's like what Apex does. That's Apex's big pull, is that the evals are super cheap. They're ridiculously cheap. They're almost like, still track them, but like it's almost like a non-event if you're taking payouts for the evals. The activation fees are a little costly, right? But the evals are like, especially if you get them 80% off, like now, 90% off especially, they're very cheap. You can pass them in 1 day. And you can get 20 accounts, which is the big draw at Apex. Take Profit Trader, the big draw is that they have very few rules. You can scalp. There's no reward to risk rule. Take Profit Trader kind of lets you do what you want. You just can't trade news, specific news events, big red folder news events. You cannot trade at Take Profit Trader. That's kind of it. And then, of course, the drawdown. But they let you take your money quick. So it's like, well, which one's better? I mean, they're both tremendous. I love both of them, just for different reasons. So I think the answer is hit both. And then when you really have a handle on both, then you can branch out, go to others. That's just my opinion. If you're like, I want to hit Tradeify, fuck, hit Tradeify. Love it. It's just, I think the best balance for a lot of you would be Take Profit Trader and Apex right now. 2 minutes, 15 seconds out. Let's see how we get on this, what kind of close we get on this 5-minute bar. Yeah, Max, this is a good question. If you blow a pro account at Take Profit Trader, can you still have 5 accounts? Yeah, of course. Of course. You can, listen, as long as you're not like trying to beat the system in like some weird way where they have to shut you down, which you shouldn't be doing, just trade properly. If you're trading any reasonable way, you're scalping, you're swing trading, whatever you want. You're just not trading news. You know, they don't let you do that. But just like go in and trade any kind of reasonable way, do whatever you want. And if you blow pro accounts at Take Profit Trader, they're not like, oh, we don't like this guy, we shouldn't let him have 5. They're like, oh, okay, so you had 5, you blew 2 of them, now you have 3, you can get 2 more and go back up to 5. You just can't have 5 active pro, more than 5, I'm sorry. You cannot have more than 5 active pro accounts at one time. That's it. All right, new 5-minute bar here. That's a decent close out of the bulls, but we are still in this little trading range. So just draw it. Don't overthink it. Say, hey, what do I think the average of 100,000 people in algorithms would draw? That, to me, that's pretty much the average of what they would draw. So we'll throw it out there and see if the bulls can take this a little bit higher. Maybe give us a little breakout attempt, in which case, you know what I'm looking at. Maybe a little stop hunting near the high of day. Well, really the high, right? But still at this point, you got to think, you know, trading range until the market proves otherwise. All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do a little bit later here today. Not in too long. Let's give away 2 Apex evals. With all this talk about Apex Take Profit Trader, let's just give away 2 evals. What do you guys say? Is that cool with you? Let me know if you guys even like want to do that. You gotta let me know. Otherwise we won't spend time on it. All right, we'll do it. We'll do it. We will be giving away a couple. We'll do 2 winners. And we'll give away an Apex eval to each. Now, by the way, the cool thing I have... you guys are going to like this. These eval codes that I have to give away to you guys. Again, we're going to do an eval code to 2 different winners. They are good for any account size. So when you go in to buy your eval, you just put in this code and you pay 0 to get the eval. Now, of course, when you pass it, there's still activation, but that's a given. But you can, if you're like, I want to do a 25K, I want to do a 100K static, I want to do a 250, I want to do a 150, I want to do a 300. You can do whatever size eval you want. It does not matter. Okay, so these codes are like gold, baby. We're giving them away today. We'll do it in a little bit here. But right now, we got to focus on trading. All right, this 5-minute bar becomes very, very interesting to me. If we can see a nice clean close here out of the bulls, we're 4 minutes out. Above like 106. All of a sudden, I'm looking to get long using a stop limit buy. Well, SK, that's a given. If you don't like the stream, man, you're not getting the account. All right, about 3 minutes here. Let's see how this bull body closes up. All right, we're less than 2 minutes out here on this 5-minute bar. Let's see if we can get a close above this wick high here. Again, above like 106 would have me looking to get long using a stop limit buy. So let's see if we can get that done. $60. Come on, Bulls. Let's get something done here. All right, 10 seconds out here. Let's see if the Bulls can give us a decent close. It's got to be above 106, otherwise I can't do anything. Yeah, there's the rollover. Nothing, baby. All right, that's an inside. Well, it's not inside. It's just barely outside of this previous bar's wick high. That's weak. That shows a lot of insecurity out of the Bulls. But what we are going to do is clean this up as we go. And we're going to watch the next bar, because this next bar could very well give us the setup that we're looking at. All right, if you want to participate in the giveaway for Apex evals, any size, you can use it on a 25K, you can use it on a 300K, 100K static, does not matter. Make sure you like the stream, and we'll be doing that here in a little while. All right, quick break. Back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. right, welcome back. Let's get back to it, baby. 4 minutes out, inside close on the last bar. Absolutely nothing there, so we missed nada. Let's keep looking. Roy, that is the idea here, if we can get a nice clean close like up here. Punch it long using a stop limit buy, and then see if we can get a little push. It would probably be a lower volatility scalp because ATR on the 5-minute chart is now 13.6. Jeez. But we can see if we can get it done. All right, we're about 2.5 minutes out on this 5-minute bar. We got to see the bulls take that higher. Again, a close, I don't know, kind of around 24,110, maybe a tad, yeah. Like 24,111. It starts to get tough because that's kind of a slow grind. You guys know how I feel about slow grinds coming into stop hunt levels, which is this high here. You know that there's stops above it. And those would be short stops. Those are buy market orders sitting up there, which when you punch through and trigger those, it gives you some free rocket fuel. Not 100 points worth, but, you know, anywhere from 3 to 10 points, depending on the volatility of the market. In really volatile markets, those stop orders can punch through 25 points. But that's not this market. But it's still free rocket fuel. And we will take it if we can get it. We better get ready here, huh? All right, we're 17 seconds out. We need to see a last-second bull adjustment here to the upside. If the bulls can do that, then I would have to put this guy to use. That is a stop limit buy order. Yeah, they can't do it. Bunch of spineless bulls. That's fine. We'll go next bar here. That closed almost as a doji. Man, what is going on here on the 5-minute chart? ATR 12.5. It's ATR on the 2. 7. Oh, man. 4.5 on the 1 minute. This is brutal. There was a bit of a push. That's good to see. All right. Tell you guys what. Let's do one of the giveaways now, because this market, the lack of volatility is starting to get a little bit annoying. So let's do a giveaway to improve my mood, and we'll do one now and maybe one a little bit later. Well, we are going to do two. We'll do one now and one a little bit later. So here's what we're going to do. What are we at? There's a bunch of you here. Push the stream to 150 and we'll do it on likes. You know I gotta bribe you. Yeah, I'll tell you guys the rules here in a second. It's very simple. I'm not gonna make you jump through 12 hoops. Except for liking the stream, which is, if you can't do that, man, you're not getting an account. Now, by the way, these accounts, again, if you're just joining us here, these codes that I have, that if you win, I will send you a code that you use at checkout and then you don't pay for the eval. You can use it on any size account, which is kind of nuts. You can use it if you're like, let me go with a 25K. You can do that. Or you can go with a 300K if you want. All right, we're almost there. Are we there yet? 5 likes. 5 likes and we'll do it. All right, we're there. We are there. You guys ready? All right, let's do a giveaway for one of the 2 Apex evals that we're going to do today. Again, this is for any size account. It is just a little code. It's basically like a coupon code that I have. These things are like gold. And if you win, I will send it to you. You will get any size Apex eval you want. You enter that code, and poof, the cost goes to 0. It is magical, and it's a wonderful thing for any size account. So let's do it. Here's how to enter. Go to the website, put your email in. Just kidding. In the chat here, just say what size account you would get. And I'll tell you what, usually what I do is tell you all to enter only once. I am going to count. Okay, I will count how many entries you have, so do not cheat. Use your brain and count. You may enter up to 10 times and put the size account that you will use this on. Just put 25K, 50K, 150K, 300K, and you can enter up to 10. If you enter 11, you're fucking out, you understand? Do it, and we will give it away. And we are gonna do the same way that we have done in the past, because I don't like the giveaway bots where you just click a button and it's like, oh, here's who won. We're going to do it like a 3-year-old would. Because it's only fair that way. 10 entries, okay? Only. And you will say what size account you will use the code on if you win. All right, we're getting the entries racked up. Jesus, this thing is popping off. It's there we go. All right. All right, this is one of two. You guys ready? You guys ready? All entries stop now. Now. Done. Cutoff. Absolutely not. Right now is the cutoff. Those entries better stop coming in, man. Ooh, you better not go past the cutoff. All right, ready? Here's what we're going to do. All right. I have a fancy setup here, and we're going to do this the exact way that a 3-year-old would do it. Let's see how high this goes. Oh, Jesus. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start right here at the top. And here's what we're going to do. This is probably the most complex giveaway you've seen. I'm going to do this. You understand? And I'm going to scroll for a while. And whoever's name I land on, we're going to go all over the place, is going to win. Fuck the bots where you say click and, oh, here's the winner. Let's do it this way. Ready? Is it working? All right, we're good. We're going to go all the way down. We're going to go around. Now, all you guys entered probably up to 10 times at max. Well, up to 10 times at max. Okay, so let's see here. All right, it's working. Ready? SK, you are highlighted, and I did not move it. SK, you are highlighted. All right, you're going to use a 100K account. You are the first of 2 winners today. We're doing another one of these in a little while. SK, here's what I want you to do. Join the free Discord. The link is, it's free. It's in the description here, or just go to wrenchcapital.com/discord. Join if you're not already in. Once you're in, just write, hey, it's SK. I'll add you as a friend, and then I'll have you just send me a screenshot of yourself logged in to your YouTube account, which is not like personal or anything. You'll just send a screenshot to prove it's you. No one's trying to steal your code, and then I'll send you the code. That's it. Cool. All right. We will do another one of these in a little while. All right, by the way, we're 10 seconds out. Let's see how this 5-minute bar closes up. And SK, I assume you're probably popping in the Discord, so let me get you straightened away. Oh, you gotta make an account? I'm sorry, I assumed everyone has a Discord account. Yeah, no worries, take your time. But get in there, I mean, don't take 2 hours. Get in there and I'll get this to you so you can redeem it today. And by the way, when I send you the code, you can use it immediately. It's not like you have to wait or anything. And remember, you can use it on any account you want. You don't have to use it on the 100K that you entered with. But whatever you want. And again, we are going to do another one here in a little while. We'll just do 2 today. Derek, you are a good friend, brother. You entered our good friend Giovanni Joe into the giveaway. Had I landed on that, by the way, yes, Joe would have won. All right, let's look at the market for a second, huh? I mean, right, this is what we're looking at right now. We're looking at a big-ass trading range. 20 EMA here on the 5 is right there. HR under 13, 12 3/4. All right. 65 seconds out here. We're kind of right at like the top end of the middle third of this channel. You guys know that middle third, you got to leave it to the algos and the degenerates. All right. Yes, sir. I'm live every single day. Now, the minute we have something we can put on, you know we're putting it on. But right now, oh my goodness, ATR is beneath 12 on the 5 minute. I think yesterday we saw ATR on the 5 minute chart hit what, 16? And we were saying how this was the lowest we'd seen it in weeks. ATR on the 5 is at 12. We can still trade that, but that's pretty damn low. right. All right, 3 minutes out here. Let's see what we get. All right, we're minute 15 out. This starts to get really tough because this is, I mean, realistically, we're looking at a wide range and a wedge. And when volatility is this low, 12.6, when you finally take out these stops up here, the whole day can change. But it's like, do you bet on that? Because it's still a flat top. But the closer you get to that wedge tightening down to basically nothing, the more likely the breakout becomes. So in these scenarios, I just kind of look at it and say, well, let's hope it breaks out sooner rather than later and we can put some trades on. SK, send a message. Go to daily discussion, say, what's up, it's SK. Whatever. All right, I'll add you as a friend here. All right, by the way, SK, if you're just joining us, is the winner of the first Apex eval that we're giving away today. We're going to give away 2 total. So SK, I just added you as a friend. Accept that. And then just shoot me over a screenshot of you logged into your account so I know it's not some scumbag trying to steal your account. Your YouTube account. Just screenshot yourself logged into your YouTube account, send it, and I'll give you the code. Yeah, we'll be doing the other giveaway here in a little bit. It's very simple. I'll just, I'll let you guys know when we do it. Not gonna make you jump through hoops. All right, SK, hey, go to your friend requests. And then I got the screenshot. I know it's you. So go to the friend request section and accept my friend request, and I'll send you the code over DM so no one steals it. All right, here we are coming in for a test of the flat top here. Dude, giving away these accounts is a good time. One of our last winners, last time we did a giveaway, I gave away a take profit trader test. And the winner hit me up. And they were like, bro, I took the account that I won and I took like a big payout. It was kind of nuts. It was cool to see. But right now this market is in a wedge. It's gonna break, and when it does, we're gonna have some trades to put on, baby. SK, there you are, big dog. All right, we're still 10 seconds out until this 5-minute bar closes up. Oh my goodness, we're right here at this kind of high flat top. We're going to close right inside of what I would call that flat top. Now again, this is always a range, but realistically, we need to see the bulls take it above here and close it. John, week 1 with 0 rule breaks in the bag. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. Most people, I don't think, have ever gone a full week without breaking a rule because most people don't have rules. They don't have a plan. But slowly, people always develop little bit, kind of rules that they follow sometimes. Going a full week, especially if you're taking multiple trades a day without breaking a single rule, is a really big deal. That's a big step that you're fully in control of, by the way. Oh man, are you guys in a trade right now? I know some of you are probably sitting long. Well, I know some of you are sitting both ways. I know some of you are hitting long to see if we can push through that all-time high again. I know a bunch of you are probably sitting short looking for the rejection. For me right now, I need to see some kind of definitive. There we go. There's those stops getting triggered. Right as we're talking about it, let's see if the bulls can close us outside. We're halfway through about this 5-minute bar, 2 minutes, 20 seconds left. That's a good push there out of the bulls. Let's get that ATR back up. Already creeping back up a little on the ATR, 12.9. Again, we're looking at a 5-minute chart. 2 minutes out on this 5-minute bar. SK, got the free 100K eval at Apex? Yes, sir. Good to hear it. Love to hear it. We're going to be giving away one more here in a little bit. Again, any size eval you want. If you win, the code that I send you will be good for any size eval at Apex, which is cool. 40 seconds out here left on this 5-minute bar. Right back into this little wedge here. All right. Well, I mean, 3 minutes and some change out from the close. Let's bounce around a little bit. I know that these other charts are not going to look too hot. Yeah, the 2 is actually not. It's not great. ATR 7.8, but it's not the worst thing we've ever seen. 1 minute. Back above 5 on the ATR. This was below 4. I'm sorry, below 5 for a little bit. 5.2 on the ATR on the 1. Yeah, I mean, it too is not the worst thing we could ever see as far as how clean the bars are. Certainly not good, though. I think the 5 minutes is the place to be for now. ATR 12.1. All right, guys, back in a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere. 2 minutes tops. All right, welcome back. I'll tell you what, let's clean this up. I think we should clean this up. We know that this is here. Okay, but I want to get... those have been drawn for a little while. Let's get a fresh set of eyes. ATR here, 11.9. That's right, I don't see any backbone out of the bulls here today. The only attempt to push through after this high was made, wicked way back, closed as essentially a bear doji bar. If the bulls can kind of just give up and the bears can take control here, which is going to take some convincing, at least to me. Now, what is some convincing? I don't know, 2 or 3 consecutive bear bodies that are growing, ideally, if not moderately sized, small, and then large. Especially if we were to see a couple of bear, or I guess one bear close beneath this area here. I'd be willing to take a stab if we saw a bear close beneath this wick, because that would put us beneath the 20 EMA and beneath a pretty clear area, along with this wick. I'd be willing to take a stab if we saw a bear close beneath here, honestly. All right, here comes the rollover here on the 5. Again, I'm looking at this wick as kind of an area to see if we can put a trade on. Here's a new 5-minute bar, which is good because we could use a new 5-minute bar. And let's see if the bears can actually take control and give us a close beneath that wick. And if they did, and it was convincing and a clean bear close, a clean bear body in general, I'd be interested in throwing out a stop limit sell 1 tick beneath the wick low of that bar. With the bulls doing what they're doing, we may have to put on an entirely different idea anyway. So let's see here. I mean, listen, if this 5-minute bar closed, like right now, right here, I would put out a stop limit buy above it. It's kind of like the trade we took earlier. It makes really easy to manage risk, keeps risk reasonably tight, and lets you look for at least a 1-to-1. Because there's plenty of room left in the range, assuming the trading range holds. So we're less than 2 minutes out until the close of this 5-minute. Let's see if we end up getting something like that. And if we do, I'll put it on. Now, if we got that close, if and only if we got that close and it was clean, I would use a stop limit buy to try to get long. But it has to be pretty specific on the close. We'll see if we get it. 60 seconds out. All right, 25 seconds. I'm going to get ready. Copy trader is engaged. Again, if the bulls, now if they shoot this up to here, you know, I got to hold off because that backfills too much of the range. But as long as we see a close, a clean close within reason above this previous bar's wick high, so above about 104.50. And I'll plant that. Yeah, we got it, and we will get a fill. Good, so I'll suck my risk up, makes my life extraordinarily easy. Right to that wick there. And I'll suck this in a little bit just to get the zoom a little better. And let's see if we can get a decent bull push. ATR is beneath 11, so I'm not looking for some big tremendous trade, just a scalp mentality inside of this little trading range. See if the bulls can get it done for us. Decent little push so far, bulls, given the low volatility of the current market environment. All right, again, ATR about 11. A full ATR would be tremendous, but realistically, I would take 3/4 of an ATR on this scalp. All right, bulls, backfill that range. Finger on the trigger here in case we get a pop. It's got to be at least 3/4 of an ATR, though. All right, risk on this scalp managed beneath, of course, my signal bar. Just looking to see if we can backfill the range. I don't need the whole range backfilled. Just 3/4 to a full ATR. And then I risk the signal bar, which also, by the way, happens to be the 20 EMA on the 5-minute beneath there. I mean, a tremendous setup for me. At this point in the trade, it's just, does it work or does it not? You put it on, you accept the outcome. The risk management here, though, is offloaded to the computer at this point. So we'll see if the bears take out that wick low. If they do, cut it and we'll move on. Bulls had us in the money a little bit early. Not nearly enough. Let's see if they can step in and save this one for us. ATR dropping a bit, 10.6. This is the lowest ATR I believe we've seen in multiple weeks on the 5-minute chart. Which, you know, if you can structure something that makes sense, that's fine. It's just, it's not, you know, it's not ideal. All right, let's see if these bears take out this wick low here. Again, if the signal bar gets taken out, could mean issues. So at that point, I want to be stopped and moving on. But it ain't over till it's over. All right, now, Bulls, get it done. This range is not tightening down that tight. Come on now. Backfill that little bigger range. Get it done for us. At least 3/4 of an ATR, ATR 11.3. This is scalping in a slow market, man. This is how it is. You put it on, you gotta structure it in a way that makes sense. And you sit and stare at it for however the hell long it takes. All right, bulls. You had enough backbone to take us to the highs. Let's see some of that return here. Well, break even on the scalp. New 5-minute bar here. ATR 10 and a quarter. On a 5-minute chart. That's getting low. You guys know on a 2-minute chart, when we're trading on a 2-minute, when ATR gets beneath 10, which of course ATR is expected to be lower on a 2-minute chart, when it gets below 10 on a 2-minute, that's when we know the market's kind of slow. Well, pretty damn slow. When we are brushing up against 10 points for an average true range, ATR, on a 5-minute chart, the market is slow. There's no arguing that. But I mean, in this case, it doesn't change the structure of the scalp. So we'll see what it can do. See if we can get the bulls pushing and fulfill the idea here, or what goes on. All right, let's see if the bears can do it. Can they take out the wick low of our signal bar back here? In this kind of volatility, they really got to work for it, you know? Gotta stay patient. If the market's slow, you know, here's the thing. When the market's slow, you might not get any setups. But as long as it's within reason, you know, let's like if ATR was 3 on the 10-minute chart, I'm sorry, on the 5-minute chart right now, I wouldn't be sitting here. But like 10 is it's slow, but it's within reason. Like we can still find something that makes sense oftentimes. When you have a structure that makes sense, it makes logical sense, you believe it makes mathematical sense, you put it on, but don't micromanage it. It's really easy when the market's slow like this to micromanage every tick. You put it on for a reason. You structured it the way you did for a reason. Just let it play out. And especially one like this, where there's really nothing. You know, when you get a setup like this, you get a pullback, and then a signal bar in the lower third of the range closing above the previous bar's wick low. I mean, that's a textbook setup. I take the setup all the time. Okay. Now, in a lower volatility market like this, in a tighter range, this is a scalp setup for me. Whereas in a higher volatility market, in a big wide range, it would be more of a swing. And I'd be looking for 2 to 1 usually on this kind of, and we did one of those earlier actually. But here it's a scalp. The risk on this is the signal bar itself. So there's no reason for me to manage anything early. The risk immediately gets offloaded to the computer because I'm risking the signal bar. So if we take out the signal bar, I'm already stopped out. There's nothing I need to do, right? Now management to the take profit side is manual because I'm doing it based off of a moving ATR, which is the average range. And we're not sure how long the trade's going to take when volatility is a bit lower. Just be patient, especially on a trade like this. When the market's a little slower, you got to be patient. If something does change, if you're in a setup that does require bar by bar management, you manage it the same way you would in a higher volatility environment. Here, it's offloaded to the computer. We let it do its thing. The only way I would manage this early, by the way, is if, God forbid, we were still sitting at 24-1 at, 250, 249. Then I'm just flattening it and moving on and laughing at how ridiculous the volatility was. Obviously, that's not likely. So we let it do its thing and see what we end up with. All right, there we go, bulls. Let's keep that moving. Let's backfill this bigger range. This little guy that's extraordinarily tight for NQ. Come on, bulls. Punch that baby through. Backfill that bigger range. Let's get this thing done. A little less than 3 minutes left on this 5-minute bar. We got the bulls taking another run at it here. Minute 45 out. Come on, bulls. Let's see a little backbone here. All right. Honestly, at this point, this volatility is so ridiculous. I just want to see some kind of break, man. There's opportunity cost involved. If the bears can break this wick low here, stop me out and let's move on and reassess. When the market is so slow like this, you know, it is a frustrating situation to be in. All right, bears making a test here. Let's see if they can do it. There we go. Let's get flat. Let's see if the bears can break this lower, man. Reassess and get a better trade going here. Oh, we got to flatten the copy trader. That's just a copy trader glitch. There we go. We're flat. All right, let's move on. About time to break a 24-1. ATR on the 5-minute chart is 10. Brutally low. All right, what do you guys say? Should we? Let's do it. Let's hit the next giveaway. Yeah, I mean, see, we're in a range, man. I mean, the bears take it through. I have to manage risk there. There's not a, you know, you could make the argument for here. You could make the argument for here. You could say here, but volatility is way too low, I think, to risk way down here. We're in a range. Bears take it right back in. This is the kind of market where if you really want it, if you're really locked in, by the way, you could mathematically trade with no stop loss and do it manually. You cut manually. I think it's a bad idea for most people because what happens if we get news, Trump says something, and the market shoots 60 points? Are you quick enough? Bad idea for most people, but just putting it out there mathematically, this kind of market, you can do it. You can do it. Not a good idea for most traders, though. All right, let's do our super ultra high tech giveaway. Sometimes high tech, it usually is, but sometimes high tech is not as much fun. So let's do it. Okay, what are we at? Let me check the stream here. All right, 200 likes. There's a bunch of you guys watching. I know there's at least 30 of you who have not liked the stream. Get the stream to 200 likes. We'll do the Apex eval giveaway. If you win, the code that I send you is good for any account size you want. Get the stream to 200 likes and we'll hit it. Let's do it, baby. All right. And we are there. So let's hit it. Now, the second giveaway here of the day is going to be different, so don't be jumping the gun. Finally, NQ is starting to move here. The way you enter is this. I'm not going to make you jump through hoops again. I won't do that. The first time what we did is the account size that you would use it on. The second time, what we're doing right now, how you enter. You can enter, keep track, use your head. Up to 10 times, but no more. Keep track. If you enter 11 times, you're out of here. Okay? All you need to do is enter, is drop in the chat, how long have you been trading? 6 months? Write 6 months, and you can write it up to 10 times. 18 years? Write 18 years, and you can enter up to 10 times. And we'll let you guys get your entries in, and then I will write cutoff, and you will not enter after I write cutoff. Hit it. We got a mix here. Two months? I saw what, 17 years? This is great. All right. Get ready for the cutoff. Here it comes. Here it comes. You better get your last entries in if you are not at 10 yet. And you better be counting. Mike G, 20 years. Nice. All right, here it comes. Cutoff incoming. There it is. There's the cutoff. That's it. Stop entering. All right, ready? You guys ready? Now again, if you win, I will be sending you a code. The way that you use it is you put the coupon code. It's like a coupon code, but it's a one-time use code. You put it in where you put the coupon code in. It's good for any size eval you want at Apex Trader Funding. And it knocks the price down to 0. You don't pay anything for it. So these things are like gold, baby. So ready? We got to go and see how high this thing goes so it's fair. All right, ready? This is the most high-tech giveaway you've probably seen. Ready to rock? Gotta make sure it's working. All right, we'll go all the way down, all the way up. All right. And whoever I land on will be the winner. And I will not move the mouse. Ready? Shibu K. 5 years, you are the winner of the second Apex account for the day. Shibu, are you here? Are you here? All right, he's here. So, Shibu, here's what you're going to do. Join the free Discord. The link is in the description, or you can go to wrenchcapital.com/Discord. It's free. Once you get in, assuming you're not already in there, say, hey, it's Shibu, and I'll add you as a friend, and then I will have you send me a screenshot just of yourself logged into your YouTube account so I know it's you and no one's trying to steal your account. And then I'll send you the code, and you're good to go. Ready to rock. You can use it right away. Oh man, these low volatility days are a little more fun when we give away accounts, huh? We got about 65 seconds left here on this 5-minute bar. And market has it right back into that little range we were trading. Now, I think the bigger range is probably something like this. Right? With, of course, a little bit of hesitation maybe at the high. There he is. What's up, Shibu? Hope I'm saying that right. If not, my apologies. All right, I just added you as a friend. Accept the friend requests, and then I'll hit you in the DMs. There he is. All right, brother, congrats. We've got the code to him, and he's ready to roll. Right now, I'm using the Affordable Indicators copy trader. I've used quite a few different copy traders, and this one has been the best one that I've used. All right, a little less than 3 minutes until the close of this 5-minute bar. How are you guys performing today, by the way? Niles Green, good to hear, brother. Derek Bloody Red. I'm sitting flat. There's just hardly anything to do. Yeah, you know, listen, if you're really, really red today, I think you got to ask, two things could have happened to you if you're really red today. Well, a lot of things could have happened, but there's probably two scenarios. Either you got short against the tight bull trend earlier this morning and kept averaging in, or what happened is you found yourself betting on breakouts throughout this whole trading range, which is okay to make that mistake a few times. But once I've done that 2 or 3 times, and I'm not gonna lie, I've done it maybe 4 times in a row. It's like, I don't think I'm seeing things properly. This is a trading range, and for some reason, I'm not seeing it. But if you keep betting on breakouts when the market is in a trading range and you do it 18 times in a row, you're gonna get cut up bad. Make the market earn your breakout bet. Like that right there. Beautiful, beautiful bull close. We haven't seen one of those in a while. But am I going to take a big breakout bet that, hey, we're going to all-time highs plus a lot more to cover this risk, 2-to-1 reward to risk? I can't put that on right now. I just can't. The risk of it being a trading range is too high. Now, does it happen? Honestly, fuck, I hope so. I hope so. It's just the risk of a trading range right now is too high. So I got to wait for something a little more definitive. All right, guys, I'll tell you what. I had fun today. We're going to do more giveaways here in the future, both with Apex and Take Profit Trader. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, if you haven't yet, leave a like on the stream on the way out, and I will be live again Monday morning. Guys, have a good weekend. Do your job this weekend. Your job, you know, if you want to do some data study up on Sunday, Saturday, whatever, that's what I've always done it over the weekend. You know, you sit down for an hour or two, just look through your data. But aside from that, your job this weekend is not to sit and be anxious that you want to be trading. Don't do it. The market's closed. Your job is to rest up so you're fresh for when the market is actually moving, which is going to be Monday morning. And hopefully a little bit this afternoon. So if you are trading this afternoon, be really, really patient. Be really patient and be hesitant to bet on the break until it actually comes, if we get it at all. And when it does come, for me, I'm going to be waiting for confirmation if I end up betting on it at all. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. And I will see you Monday morning. Rest up, guys. See you soon.